Alrighty, we've been practicing with scatter plots and trend lines, and now what we're going to do is make use of some technology that will make your scatter plot and your trend line look pizzazzy, and also end up with a trend line that we all have that's the same, all right, and it's mathematically valid. So here's what you need. You're going to, obviously, you have a Chromebook, all right, you've got that out, and you need your data, okay, that we compiled yesterday. You're going to be flip-flopping back and forth probably now between this video, and then you're going to construct this scatter plot in Google Sheets. So you're going to feel free to pause the video and flip back and forth to create your own. Go up here into the Google Apps section and grab or click on Google Sheets. Google Sheets is a cool spreadsheet program that we're going to use. You can use it for lots of great things, so it's awesome. Choose a blank one. And basically, here's what it looks like. Just looks like a blank grid. And we're going to fill it with some data and let the technology build our fabulous scatter plot. The first thing I want you to do is come up here where it says Untitled Spreadsheet. Let's title it Line of Best Fit. You don't have to put your name in here or anything, because once you share this with me, I'll get to see it. So no problem. A spreadsheet program is built not just to house text data, but it'll also do math calculations, numbers, all kinds of things, which makes it very powerful. Every single location or box on this spreadsheet is called a cell, and it's much like Battleship. Columns are letters. The row that you're in, that location you're in, is a number. And so wherever you are, you get a cell name that's a letter and a number. So right now I happen to be in B4. Haha. I want you to jump back up and be up there in A1. All right. Get your data that we compiled yesterday. And what we're going to do is take the two columns of the numbers and enter these in. Height and fingertip height. Okay. All right, so now basically what you have to do is start peeling through our list of numbers that we compiled from everyone in the class. So as you're typing, double check that we're staying consistent. If you lose your place, just go back to your list, like I do, because I get interrupted and then I get messed up. Ah! Hop on over and do the same thing with that second column of data that we're entering. This was the one that was measuring from the tip of your head down to your fingertips. And what we're finding is how proportional were you, or maybe not necessarily proportional, but is that golden ratio really existing in your body? 38, 42. Okay, and hopefully everything matches up. Yes. Okay. All right. If you want to format a little bit and play around a little bit, feel free. I'm not going to get all worked up grading you on anything like that. But if you want to, for example, make your column headings look a little nicer, maybe you want to center them, maybe you want to fill in with a color, that's fine. Play around a little bit if you want to change the font, yada, yada, yada. You do what you want. If the wording isn't quite fitting here, you can easily expand or shrink columns. If you just get your cursor up here in between these two, yikes, hold on. And then you can just kind of drag it over and it'll make your column larger, okay? But the big thing that we want to do now is we want to get in and make our scatter plot. And it's so much nicer to let the technology do it than have us do it by hand. So once you've got everything all formatted pretty, go up to Insert And you get a whole menu here, and I want you to go down to chart. And then, ooh, gave me some kind of line chart. Okay, in fact, it tells you that up here where it has this thing called the chart editor. Well, I don't want this kind of chart. I'm looking for a scatter plot. So let's do that. Scroll on to, here we go. Pick scatter plot. Yes, that's exactly what I wanted. Now, the bad part is this thing, I'm going to close the editor for a second. This is like covering up my data. I don't really want that to happen. So what I want to do is drag it and move it so I can see my data and have this here. And then I can do some of my fixing and formatting now. All right. All right, eventually we're going to get to the trend line, but before we do that, I'm looking at this and I'm like, geez, some of my data is like right on the very edge. And remember when we made our graph, we kind of expanded out beyond, a little bit beyond where our range was of our data points. Click on the graph again so it's highlighted, and you will see 3 dots up here that are going to allow you to edit the chart. Now, so you can see what's going on. In this first thing, I see, okay, this, yes, my data range, okay, yada, yada. I don't really want to change anything about the data I'm inputting. I'd rather customize how it's looking right now. All right. So let's go through some of your options and see how you want to change some things perhaps. Under this first one, chart style, font, if you want to change the font, go ahead. I'm leaving mine fine. Background color, I don't know. That's a little harsh. Okay. If you want to pick something there, go ahead. I'll just do something kind of mellow there or leave it white. I really don't care. All right. As far as the other stuff, nah, don't have to worry about it. The next drop down, it's got some things in here. It has height, fingertip height. I'm fine with that. The other stuff, yeah, no, I'm not worried about it. Horizontal axis title. If you want to add some wording on there, you can. This was our height numbers on horizontal. So if you want to do that, you can. Okay. If you want to do vertical axis title and call that the fingertip, fingy-trip. Good Lord, can you spell? Fingertip height. You can do that. Okay, so it added that on there. That's kind of nice. Okay. Series. All right, well, it gives you a little bit of options here. If you want to change the color that you're using for your dots on your scatter plot. Ugh. Okay. I'm just going to leave mine kind of dark blue like that. You can change the size if you want. You can change the shapes if you, ooh la la, you want to make a star, whatever. Okay, for now, let's just leave there so you can see what else we've got here. Now the legend, that's what's talking about this thing about the star, and it's calling it the fingertip height, but really the fingertip height is just one of my data points going against height. I don't really need a chart legend here. So what I'm going to do under position, I'm just going to choose none. It doesn't need to be there. Okay. Leave legend out of it now. Now, horizontal axis. I definitely want to click on this because when it chose where you're going to start and end, it picked the lowest data point or the smallest one we had, and we want to go beyond that. So remember when we made our graph, we started at about 57. So if you go down here where it says minimum value, put in like 57, and then for a max, just so that we get it encapsulated in there, choose something like 74, let's say, so you get everything in here. That way now I'm going to see all of my data and have a little bit of room left and right. I need to do the same thing vertically now. So when I click on horizontal axis to close that, go down to vertical axis, find where it said minimum value. Looks like we started ours at 32. So if I put in 32, see now it's shifting everything up. That's kind of nice. All right. Right now we had ours go up to, wow, I think I have a typo. Really? A 53? Holy cow. I think I made a mistake there. Here's the cool thing. We don't have to recreate stuff. That should have been a 43. So watch what happens. I'll hit 43 and it shifts it. Sweet. Thank goodness for that. All right, I'm going to get back in here under my vertical axis and make it go from 32 all the way up to, let's say, maybe 46. Okay, I think our graph ended at 45.5, but now do you see how we got everything in there? Looks much better. Grid lines is the last option you have there, and you can apply different grid line formatting and whatever. I'm not going to mess with that. I don't really care. All right. Okay, so far, I've got the scatter plot in there. I've got my points. I've adjusted it so I can see all of my data points. Now we want the trend line. Go back to series. And what you're going to see down below here is an option for the trend line. Click on it. Oh, how sweet is that? Now, when we were drawing these by hand, here's what's happening. Everybody's going to manually draw it a little bit differently. And if we want to have some consistency and we want to use it for predictions, we definitely need one line to go by. As you get further up in statistics and study, you will probably work on these lines of best fit or lines of regression. And there are a variety of different mathematical ways you can calculate these. We in Algebra 1 aren't going to go to that level today. We're just kind of looking at the trend and how can I use this trend line for predicting other data, and that best fits my data. So we've just got our trend line. Cool. Guess what? It's going to tell you the equation of this line. Okay, so I don't even have to try to go and say, all right, I got this point. I'm going to figure out the slope, try to predict the y-axis, where my y-intercept is, yada, yada. My gosh, it's going to do it for you. Where you clicked on trend line, start going below here and find the drop-down menu under label and choose use equation. Oh my gosh. Let me close out the chart editor now so you can see this. Holy mackerel. Isn't that cool? This actually gave us the actual equation of the line in slope-intercept form. It doesn't write y equals, but I've got 0.69x, that's your slope, plus negative 4.62, that's your y-intercept. Cool. Isn't that cool? In fact, if we wanted to, if you wanted to go back and edit your chart under the custom tools and under horizontal axis, if you wanted to, instead of 57 for your minimum, put in 0. And then for the vertical axis, if you wanted to go in and, let's see, put in something like -6, and then you could see, oh my gosh, look at that. Yep, it really is a negative intercept. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. Cool. However, for our purposes, I'm just going to go back and say that my vertical axis was like at 32, at my horizontal axis. Let me get this on here. Instead of being 0, we really had it at about 57. So it looks like this. Okay. All right. Here's the last thing I want you to do. Okay. Click out of your scatter plot. Leave a line here. And I want you to put in this box. What if we wanted to predict what was going to happen? What would be the fingertip height if someone was like 80 inches tall? Okay. All we have to do, since this is our input right here at 80, we're going to use our equation. And we're going to let Google Sheets do the math for us. Okay? All right. Plug in an equal sign first. When you enter an equal sign in a cell of Google Sheets, it's telling it to do some math calculations for you. We're going to tell it to take 0 and 0.69 times, use the asterisk. Now, rather than type in 80, here's what I'm going to do. Just click on that box right before it that had the 80 in it. And notice it fills in the cell designation there. That's going to be important in just a second. Then it says plus negative 4 62/100. I'm just going to say minus 4.62. Hit enter. Wow, there it is. Someone that was 80 inches tall probably would have a distance of 50 and 58/100 inches down to their fingertip, okay? When I went outside of all of my data, okay, so 80 isn't even on my chart. It's way out there a ways. That's called extrapolating. You're going outside of your data spots, okay? Let's say I want to predict something inside. Notice we don't have anybody that's at 60 right now. Underneath the 80, put 60. If I want my line equation to calculate this, I'm not going to re-enter this data. You know what I'm going to do? Instead of typing equal sign 0.69 times the box before me minus 4.62, here's what you can do. Click on that cell that has 50.58 in it. Notice when I look up here in the formula bar, it has all of the programming I put in there. I'm just going to have it drag down and copy the same information that I have here. Okay, now watch. I'm going to scroll up a little here. When I have this box highlighted and you get this blue box, if you get yours, now mine has this obnoxious mouse right now that's pointing there. If you get your cursor right over that box, it might turn into a black plus sign. Drag it down and it will copy that right there. So you should get 36.78. Look up in the formula bar up here. It's already programmed there. Grab that again, hold down your left mouse button and drag it down 3 more places. Okay. Now I'm clicking out of here. It says negative 4.62, but I don't even have anything in there to plug in yet. You're right. You know why you're getting negative 4.62? Because I don't have anything in cell A29, so it thinks it's 0. It's saying 0 times this number, which is 0, minus 4.62. That's what you end up with. I want you to just randomly put in 3 other numbers there, you know, like 55 or something, okay? Can't use 55, use something different. You put in 3 different data points, so it will calculate for you, all right? I want you to make sure you've got it now titled line of best fit. This is what you're getting graded on. I want to see your columns. I want to see your scatter plot, the trend line, and the equation. I want to see that you put 80 and 60 in and that you formulate it or put in the formula to calculate those. And you need to put 3 more numbers in here and let it do the math for you. When you have all that ready and you're ready to grade it, share it with me. Start typing in LBEST, okay? And you're probably going to see 2, my regular one and the apps. Will you click on the apps one to share with me and then hit send, okay? I'm going to cancel out of there. All right, fix it up and make it fancy however you want to format it. Go ahead and share it with me. Awesome. Isn't technology great? Thanks.